The former LSK president, the Law Society of Kenya president, Nelson Havi, has recently been heard making certain allegations that has left a lot of people talking in the country. Not only has he made allegations, but he has also filed a petition to have one of the Supreme Court judges, Justice Mabenya, removed from the Supreme Court judges list. This is after citing irregularities, not only irregularities, but also after he claimed that there is an amounting charges of corruption against the said judge. Now, as of today, Bwana Nelson Havi has come up with new allegation against one lawyer, Danstan Omar, who is among one of the most prolific and prolific, lawyers in our country. And I want to dive deep into the story that is currently making headlines in the country, which involves and revolves around one lawyer, Danstan Omar. Bwana Nelson Havi, through his publications on his social media platform, that is platform X, he has pointed out several lawyers who never lose cases, and one of them is Bwana Danstan Omar. And I want to start here where he says, "We will in due course examine why the following advocates never lose cases before Justice Alfred Mabea. Number one, Philip Nyachoti. Number two, Danstan Omar. You can add to the list. You see the corruption in the judiciary to head. We must remove corrupt advocates from the role of advocates." Not only are we citing this allegation from lawyer Nelson Havi, he has also said that there are Supreme Court judges that are also pressuring the current CJ, Mother Koome, to resign as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. Now, I want you to listen to this. He says, "I have organized on whether or not to publicize this, and I have concluded with myself that it is the right thing to do. There is a reasonable suspicion that Kenya shilling 300 million changed hands in the matter. Ahmed Nasri and I are consistent that the SCOK the Supreme Court of Kenya should not handle commercial disputes." Now, continuing on the cases of lawyer Danstan Omar, Nelson Havi says, "We are banning the granary to kill rats. It is unconventional but necessary to clean up the judiciary and the legal profession." He says on Friday, Mabea called us to cover a function where he was donating food to save face, but I have seen the story. I have seen the story anywhere. They were given 2K each. And now that is about the journalist. Let's proceed to one Danstan Omar. And I quote him, "Time has come for us to tell things as they are and put blame where it belongs. In my mind, if my mind serves me right, I remember that when we met for lunch on Wednesday, 18th December 2024, Omogambi Danstan Omar gave his remarks and in the process made comments about the attacks on Honorable Justice Alfred Mabea. Those who attended the meeting on Wednesday, 18th December, can recall that Danstan said, Danstan made comments in the presence of Commissioner Ombati, a JSC commissioner, but worse still, when Commissioner Ombati stood to make his remarks, he didn't react to Danstan's remarks or make any clarification on his position about the issue raised by Danstan. The only exaggeration Nelson Havi has made in his tweet is the allegation that senior counsels talked about raising funds to fund the judge. It is actually factual that some senior counsels met on Wednesday. It is factual that the issue of attacks on Justice Mabea was raised by one of us. It is equally factual that a JSC commissioner was in attendance at the luncheon However, it is not factual that we met on Thursday, and it is not factual that the issue of raising funds to defend the judge arose. What should concern us, though, is not what Havi has written, but rather who among those who attended the luncheon gave Havi the information, and why did he or she exaggerate? What was the motivation for such exaggeration? We met for lunch, and we have no apologies to make for that, but why the misinformation? Danstan Omar, shut up before we expose you. Now that is what Havi has said about lawyer Danstan Omar. And he says, thank you, Patroba Michieka, for calling out this subterfuge of the few senior Kisii advocates hell-bent on abusing the entire Gusii advocate to support their corrupt enterprises in the judiciary. Let the corrupt advocates and judges carry their own cross without seeking assistance from the majority innocent advocates. Now, what Bwana Havi means is that lawyer Danstan Omar, being one of the most sought after counsels in the country, he has never lost a case in front of Justice Alfred Mabea. And Havi believes that the reason some of these lawyers or counsels don't lose cases in front of these Supreme Court judges is because they have pocketed the said judges and raised money to fund the lifestyle or to fund the said judges. Now listen to this remark. Havi says, confirmed, 2 Supreme Court judges have asked CJ Mother Koome to spare the court embarrassment and resign. The CJ's 2 octogenarian Kanu offered legal advisors have also bowed out and asked her to resign. They will not be seen in public with her again. Now this tells you that there is a certain thing that is happening in the Judicial Service Commission of our country, or let me say the Supreme Court of Kenya, as a certain cabal that is being run by certain judges in conjunction or in connection with some few advocates or counsels that are allegedly taking bribes or are allegedly participating in corruption. They might benefit those who have money in the country, which means, in a court of law, that is where justice is supposed to be paramount. And once in a court of law, justice is not paramount and it's served on the basis of corruption or on the basis of who has a lot of money or who can give me the highest bribe, then that means our courtrooms are doomed. That means there is no justice in our country. And that is why when Havi quotes what has been said in regards to the case of Rigathi Gachagua, he tells us that the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua might have come at a time that the Judicial Service Commission of Kenya thought that they can go to bed with the executive, not knowing what they should expect from the councils in the country. And the councils can turn around the table, they can turn around the cards and make sure that the said judges or the said Supreme Court, or let me say the whole judiciary at large, suffers the consequences of corruption and conniving with the executive. And that is why he points out fingers directly at one lawyer, Danstan Omar, saying that Danstan Omar is one of those in the said cabal. Danstan Omar has not currently gone ahead to reply to the said allegations, but Omar is a man that loves the attention that comes with these things. Danstan Omar is going to reply to these, and once he does, I assure you, as we will be here to serve you with the said gist whenever it comes up. Remember, this is the Kenyan Daily Report.